All right, who's driving? Today, we are continuing our technology course. Okay, so technology, thinking about technology, and the title, Who's Driving? Why do you think that they would put the text, Who's Driving, in a unit about technology? You guys have talked about this a little bit already in this unit. It's something that I think you guys are interested in. Why would they say Who's Driving in a unit about technology, Nadia?
They would ask that because they're talking about cars that are self-driven.
Okay, so self-driven cars that are like what? Battery operated. Give me a little bit more, Wyatt.
Since technology's starting to get really good, that nobody has to hold the wheel and drive, and the cars can do it by themselves. Like maybe you put a GPS on a dashboard, and the car drives there by itself.
Okay, so a car that drives by itself, it uses technology. Bryson?
I like to add on the line because I think now that Amazon or something made that car.
Okay, so Bryson says that he thinks the owner of Amazon made this car. Do y'all agree or disagree?
No.
Okay, why do you disagree? Who do you think made it? Who do you think made it, Hayes?
I disagree with Bryson because I think Google made it because it has it on the side of the car.
Okay, so it is another big company like Amazon. We talked a lot about Amazon in this technology unit, right? But Amazon didn't make this. Who made this one? Google, yes. Okay, Landon?
I disagree with Bryson because it does say Google on the side, and I know that I understand how Google could have made that because Google has made laptops, computers, tablets, phones.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Landon says Google has made laptops, computers, phones, tablets, all kinds of stuff that deal with what?
Technology.
Now, does Amazon use technology?
Yes.
Yes. But does Amazon really create the technology?
No.
Do they invent the technology?
No.
So Google, it does say Google's name, but also we can make an inference that Google made it because Google is a company that invents different types of technology. Good. I like the way what you added on to there, Landon. Gavin, I need you with me. What are you playing with in your desk? Are you ready? Okay. All right, Kobe.
I think the mailman, because every time the mailman drop off mail, the gas pedal is on the other side and the steering wheel is on this side. The steering wheel will drop out of stuff, but you just gotta do the gas pedal.
Okay. I understand why you think that, but Hayes, add on to it.
I disagree with Coach because the mailman and mailwomen have to get cars from Europe because their steering wheel's on the right side of the car instead of the left.
Yeah, so sometimes we buy cars from other places, other countries for the mailman. But sometimes, like my mailman, he sits in the passenger seat and he just reaches over.
Yeah.
He's got one foot on that side and he reaches over and drives that way. Now, is that real safe? No, but that's what he does. Okay, y'all are getting a little off topic. Let's get back on topic. Paragraph 1. Okay, we're going to read this together. We know that we're talking about cars that drive themselves because we're in a technology unit. And I would guess that you guys have looked at the car on that page and read that caption. Okay, today our job is to make some inferences. So I'm going to ask you some questions about the text. We're going to make inferences to figure them out. And 2, we're going to work on some of the vocabulary words in the text, figuring out what they mean. Okay? So paragraph 1, read it for us, Wyatt. Everybody follow along. Paragraph 1.
Driverless cars are being promoted as the future of travel. Driverless cars use sensors and computer systems such as GPS, to navigate streets without a human driver. When faced with a decision on the road, driverless cars rely on their programs to make the best choice, but self-driving vehicles may make everybody driving situations more dangerous. Trained human drivers know how to handle emergency situations. These real drivers should be behind the wheel on our roads.
Okay. So before we move on any further, what do you think that this author opinion, this author's claim, this author's position, this author's point, what do you think their point of view is, their opinion, their claim? What do you think, how do they feel about driverless cars? Nadia?
Their point of view, their claim is they don't like driverless cars because they think it might be dangerous.
Okay, I want you to come to the board and underline a sentence that proves that. What sentence do they actually say that in? I know you can do it. Just underline it with your finger, okay?
We don't need to.
Oh, hold on. Would
Questions?
help if I turn on the pen, huh?
Oh, it
Alright,
reads
try
to
now.
you.
Great job. Okay, it says, but self-driving vehicles may make everyday driving situations more
Dangerous.
dangerous. Everybody underline that. So this author, is this author in support of driverless vehicles or against? Against. Okay, they're against it. Okay, now it says here that driverless cars use sensors and computer systems such as GPS to navigate streets without a human driver. What does that word navigate mean? Everybody highlight the word navigate. Oh, you don't have your highlighters out. Get your highlighters out real quick and highlight the word navigate. Using the clues in the text around it. Thinking about what a GPS is, thinking about these driverless cars, you know that means that they drive themselves, there's not a human in them. What does that mean? They navigate the streets. What are these cars doing? If they're navigating the streets, what does that mean? Think about what a GPS does. It says such as a GPS to navigate. If the GPS helps them navigate, what is the GPS helping them do? What do you think, Lillian? What does the GPS help you do? What do you use a GPS system for? What do you use a GPS for, Yazel? As a map, right? It tells you when to do what?
Travel.
Okay, where to travel, when to turn, when to keep going
Straight.
when to make a curve, when to do a U-turn. So it tells you which way to go. It is helping you navigate. So if the GPS helps them navigate the streets, navigate means it tells the cars which way to go. Okay, so navigate is like which direction you're going to go. So these cars have GPS systems in them that tell them which way to go automatically. I need everybody to write that definition on their paper, please. I tell my car where to go because I turn the wheel, right? But there's nobody in there turning the wheel. They turn the wheel based on the what?
Technology.
Yes, technology, but what specific technology is in there that tells them when to turn?
GPS.
A GPS. They've got like a little computer in there that's got a GPS system and it tells them when to turn, when to keep going straight. Yes.
Sometimes the GPS doesn't work for my house, and I don't know why. A lot of people, when like my mother's friends come over, they sometimes get lost. And when we were first trying to find it, before we reached there, it said you reached your destination, and we were really confused because there was no house there.
Okay, so let's talk about that. These cars only know where to go because they have a what in them?
GPS.
But Wyatt says the GPS doesn't work for his house. It says you're there, but you're really not.
Because it don't on the map.
So that would be a what for this car?
A problem.
A problem. Yeah, that would be a problem for this car. Gavin?
I think I know a solution to this because back in Indiana,
Is that where you lived before Indiana? Okay.
Back in Indiana, when we tried to use the GPS to get to my nanny's house, it would take us to the big field right beside the house. So a solution to that problem for self-driving cars is maybe make it self-driving and make it to where it can have a driver.
Okay, so you're thinking a little bit ahead. They're going to get to that point. So you keep that in your brain, okay? And when we get to that point, we're going to read what they say, and then you let us know if you still agree or disagree with that, okay? All right, paragraph 2. Read paragraph 2 for us, Travis. Everybody's looking at paragraph 2.
The driverless car is not a new idea. It has been around since the 1920s. However, the idea didn't become popular until the 1939 World's Fair
Futurama
exhibit designed by Norman Bell. The Bell Gibbs created a large mobile showing what the world would like. In 1960, complete with the skyscrapers, highways, and cars that drove themselves, all futuristic ideas. At the time, the dangerous reality of the driverless car was not a problem yet.
Okay, so in this paragraph, they're talking about this man that had a lot of ideas in what time period?
In 1939.
Okay, 1939. Everybody circle that.
That's a long time ago.
That's like 39 years.
Now, he had ideas. He had ideas in 1939 about what the world would look like in 60. So he's thinking ahead, right? So using those clues, what do you think the word futuristic means? It says all these futuristic ideas. Everybody look at that sentence with me. It says Bell. Everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
On your paper, Kobe. Bell Gates created a large model showing what the world would look like in 1960, complete with skyscrapers. Do we have skyscrapers today?
Yes.
Yes. Like in New York, in Chicago, those big cities, they're really tall buildings called skyscrapers. Alyssa. Highways. Do we have highways?
Yes.
Yes, there are highways everywhere. That's how we get from one place to
Another.
another. And cars that drove them. All futuristic ideas at the time. What do you think this word futuristic means? Based on the clues that we just talked about, I should see hands in the air. Everybody should have an idea based on the things we just talked about. What do you think that word futuristic, what does it sound like to you, Callan? Yeah, so these are all things that he thinks would happen in the future. Okay, so here we're going to write future. Are they things that seem possible now? Well, right now for us, yes, but I'm thinking about when like in 1939, would they have seemed possible? No, somebody would have looked at that idea and they would have said, that is impossible. There is no way that's going to happen. So sometimes those futuristic ideas seem a little bit out of hand, crazy, not possible. Okay? There are ideas today that some scientist somewhere has, and there's somebody telling them there's no way. It's not possible. And I bet you in 30 or 40 years, it'll be what? Possible. Because things are always changing in the future. Yeah. Yes, Bryson?
I disagree with Amanda Polidor because, like, Teslas are the most, like, developed cars, and it's like the first rated for not, like, likely for wreck. So.
Okay, Bryson just did some really cool things. Number one, he said, I disagree with Amanda Polidor. Who is that? The author. She's giving us her opinion, and he's disagreeing. But even though he disagrees, he's done it respectfully. He called her by her name, and he said it in a nice way. He didn't say she's wrong. He just said, I disagree. So number one, he has shown his opinion in a respectful way. Number two, he backed it up with some evidence, some support. He said, I disagree with her because the Tesla has, he said something about the highest ratings for less wrecks or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know much about Teslas. But I am more likely to believe him because he's given me some evidence, some facts for it. Okay? Good job, Bryce. I'm giving you a dojo point for that. All right, let's move on. Read paragraph 3 for us. Lillian. Hold on just a minute. Everybody's not with you. I know it's Monday and things are a little bit different today, but we still need to be paying attention and on task. Stella, you with us? All right, everybody's paragraph 3. Experimenting
with the idea of having road drive cars. The roads would have
magnetic cables
that
controlled
the car. However, the project was cut because of the
lack
of
funding. Good. Okay, so these are some other ideas, right? He had an idea about cars that drive themselves. But in paragraph 3, they take a shift, right? They're still talking about cars that don't need a driver. There's no driver there. But are these cars using GPS in paragraph 3?
no.
What are those cars using to drive themselves? Instead of a driver, how are they getting around? What are they using? Okay, and I'm going to just wait until everybody is at least looking for the answer and attempting it, because I have the same 5 or 6 people that keep answering the questions. All the others are just waiting on their friends to do it for them. What are these cars in paragraph 3 using to drive? Instead of a person, they're not using GPS, they're not using technology. What were they using? Yatzell?
Paragraph 3 says the road should have
Magnetic
cables that control the cars.
Hey, Yatzell, look at me. I am so proud of you. When I asked that question, you didn't look in your text. You were looking around the room. You weren't even trying. And who just gave me the right answer? You. You can do it. Every single one of you can do this. You gotta try. When you tried, you got it, right? Good job. Hey, they were trying to, instead of using GPS and technology, they said, well, we'll just put these magnetic cables. Magnetic cables are like magnets, right? Like this magnet goes to the board, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if my car is magnetic, then it's going to keep it. See how this magnet stays on the board? Then the car would stay on the what? Road if there's magnets to hold it there. Now, they would have to be really strong magnets, right? And really strong magnets cost a lot of
Money.
Okay, let me give you an example. I bought some clips like this that have magnets, but they were plastic. I don't even think I have them anymore. I threw them away. They were 99 cents, less than $1. Do I have some over there? No. They were less than $1. They were made out of plastic, and they just had a little magnet on the back. That magnet was not strong at all. I would put one piece of paper on it, and it would fall. Put one piece of paper on it, and it'd fall. These, I got 4 of these magnets in a pack, but it cost me $5. Is that a pretty big difference?
And you can
Okay, it is a pretty big difference, but this holds up a whole one of those. It is much stronger. So stronger magnets cost more money. Okay, so here it says they had an idea to make these cars that would run on magnets on the road, but they had to stop because of a lack of funding. Remember we talked about that word funding before. What is funding? What is funding, Stella?
Like giving money.
Money. Outside funding, everybody write money. So they've stopped because they did not have enough money. Okay? Because in order to do that, they would have to change what? Just one road?
No.
All the roads. They would have to make all the roads magnetic. Because I don't want to just go from my house to work. I want to go from my house to work, from my house to Ruth's Daycare, from my house to Walmart. I got a lot of places to go, right? So not just one road needs to be magnetic. It would need to be, not only would you have to change the roads, but you'd have to change everybody's what?
Cars.
All their tires, yeah. Okay.
You know how you said about the magnet?
Mhm.
So what if a big 18-wheeler was coming down the road full speed, and it had like a ton of, like, the ones that say oversized load on it, and it came around a sharp curve, it would definitely flip over.
Yes. So there's some parts of that that would also be dangerous, right? Some things they wouldn't plan for. Okay, let's look at paragraph 4. Read paragraph 4 for us, Landon. Have you already read today? All right, go ahead. Everybody's in paragraph 4.
It wasn't until the 1980s that technology started to catch up with the idea of driverless cars. In 1986, in Germany, a robotic van was created by
Ernest Dickmans.
It reached speeds of up to 30 miles per hour on streets with no traffic. The United States also developed a robotic vehicle. This was an off-road vehicle that could drive over harsh terrain. It could only travel by 19 miles per hour.
Okay, so the first driverless car was created in what? Germany. Then the United States later made their first robotic car. But it says that our robotic car was an off-road vehicle that could drive over harsh terrain. Okay, let's talk about that. Off-road vehicle that traveled in harsh terrain. When you look at this word, there is an off-road vehicle. What does that make you think of? Where is this vehicle going to go?
Like through fields.
Why do you think that?
Because it says off roads and fields don't have roads in them.
Yes, that clue, off-road, means you're not going to be on the road. Okay, so one example might be a field. What would be another example? What's another example of an off-road place, Gavin? Woods. Landon? Four-wheeler trail. Travis?
Mud pit.
A mud pit. Ruthie, it's hard for me to see y'all's faces with these hats on.
Actually, I disagree with this.
I know you don't.
Why?
Because,
What do you disagree with?
I disagree with Ernest Dickman because he, like, if you, it would only go to a certain miles an hour and then you wouldn't be able to get the speed you want.
Okay.
If there was a
You're
tornado
100 mile an hour.
and it was coming behind you and you were only going like 50, then you might not make it.
Okay, so you don't disagree with him because he doesn't have an opinion. What he has is
I
a
disagree
fact.
with what he made.
So he has a fact. He made it and it works, right? Now there's no opinion there. When it says that in 1986 in Germany, a robotic van was created by Ernest Dickman. It reached speeds of 39 miles per hour on the streets with no traffic. Is there anybody's opinion there? No. All of that is facts. So you don't disagree with his opinion.
I disagree with what he made.
Okay, you disagree with what he made. You do not like it. Okay? So when we're writing our opinion, we're going to start tomorrow writing opinion papers. Remember, when you disagree with someone, you have to make sure you're disagreeing with their opinion. You cannot disagree with a fact. Okay? Now, you can use a fact to help prove your opinion, but you can't disagree with a fact. A fact is a fact.
You can disagree with what they made.
Yes. All right, so let's keep on going. So an off-road vehicle, y'all given me some examples. An off-road vehicle is anything that is not on the road. A field, a four-wheeler trail, the woods, okay? Now, when it says it could drive over harsh terrain, using those clues in off-road vehicle, what would harsh terrain be like? Think about a field. Think about those wooded areas. What are they like? Are they like a road?
No.
Describe them. What would a harsh terrain place feel like? What would it be like? Riley?
I think that a harsh terrain
Lillian, I need you paying attention, sis.
would be like it's muddy, has a bunch of rocks.
Okay, so muddy, rocky, what else? What would be some other ways to describe it? If you're not on the road, you're in those woods, those fields, describe it to me. Caius?
Like dirty or harsh, like something.
What's another word for harsh? Like it's really
Real hard.
hard? I hear some of you saying something else. What did you say? Rough. Okay, so the first one the United States made was not to go back and forth to Walmart or go back and forth to work. It was an off-road. It was made to go in these harsh places. But it could only go 19 miles per hour. That means it's going very slow. Okay, I need all of those written on your paper so that you'll know what they were talking about, okay? Yes, Landon?
I disagree with Riley because muddy is not a bad terrain. It depends what vehicle you have. Because like a four-wheeler, it can get through mud pretty easily. But with like a van, it would take some time because vans are not made to have tires.
Okay, so harsh terrain could be muddy. Other times it could not. It's a possibility, so we'll leave it there. Sometimes harsh terrain is muddy. It doesn't have to be muddy, though. All right, do you have all those on your paper? Yes, Travis.
I kind of disagree with this electric stuff because on the interstate, the speeds of 80 mile an hour in some places it's almost 90. It's almost 90, and that lets you get there kind of fast. And in that car, it takes you over hours to get where you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like to Florida, where it takes 8 hours, it takes at least 16 to a whole day.
Yes, I agree with everything you said except for it's 90 in some places. I've never seen any.
90?
The most, okay, I was going to say, you might be going 90, but I don't think there's anywhere that says speed limit's 90. Yes, Hayes. That probably means somebody's doing some speeding. Hayes.
There's this highway in
somewhere like Germany or something, you can go whichever speed you want. You might want to have one of those cars.
There are in other countries, some places like that. All right, let's move on. Paragraph 5. Read paragraph 5 for us, Caius. Everybody's on along. Paragraph 5.
In 2009, Google began.
Hold on just a minute, Caius. Everybody needs to be their finger on paragraph 5, following along. Focus, ready to go.
In 2009, Google began testing self-driving cars. Using modern technologies, Google was able to test drive 10 100-mile routines with routes with their driverless cars in the first year. By 2012, Google's driverless cars had completed over 300,000 miles of accidentally free driving. By 2017, Google was offering free public trails of their self-driving cars to Phoenix, Arizona. Companies like Google want to transform how we drive, but how safe are driverless cars?
Good. Okay, so in this paragraph, in paragraph 5, there are times, we've been talking about text structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are times where they'll say, what's the text structure of the whole passage? There are times where they'll ask you the text structure of one paragraph. Just one paragraph. So if we were just looking at paragraph 5, only paragraph 5, not the whole text, just paragraph 5. I want you to read paragraph 5 yourself, and I want you to tell me, do you think it's description, problem and solution, cause and effect, sequence, or compare and contrast? I'm going to write your choices on the board. Everybody should be reading paragraph 5 to themselves again, and I want you out to the side. I'm going to come by and check it. Out to the side here about paragraph 5, I want you to write what you think it is.
Can you write the text?
I am. That's what I'm going to do right now. What do you think this text structure is of just paragraph 5? Write it out to the side. I'm coming to look. Turn around. All the way around. Did you tell your mama that?
My mom said that I'm gonna get picked up early at like 1:30 or 45 because I'm going to the doctor.
Okay. got this correct, but then several of us also did not. Okay, some of you are pulling things out, little pieces. You know how we talked about with like main idea? Like what the whole thing is about, right? Okay, text structure is not like main idea. Except that you do want to think about the whole thing. You know how when I say main idea, I say don't pick out just a little detail, right? Text structure is the same way. Do not pick out one little detail. Think about what is the whole thing telling you about, okay? This whole thing.
You said paragraph 5.
Yes, what did I just say when I was talking?
You said the whole thing.
No, okay, no, the whole thing in paragraph 5.
Oh.
This whole paragraph. So you're not picking out one sentence. You're picking out the whole paragraph. Out of the whole paragraph, what are they telling you about? Now, some of you said description. They're describing it. They did tell you about one company's car, right?
Right.
But did they tell you what that car, how it worked, what it looked like, how fast it went, if it was on the road, if it was on harsh terrain? Did they tell you all the details about that one car?
No.
No, so they're not describing it. Okay, Alyssa, you're playing with your hair over and over and over instead of listening. Do you understand what I just said? Why isn't it description?
It is description because it's not describing the car.
Yes, they talk about that one company and they talk about that car, but they do not describe it. They don't tell you what it's like, okay? Some of you chose cause and effect because it does say here that they test drove it with a 100-mile route, and that went well, so then they did 300,000, right? So one thing happened and it made another thing happen. That's true. But if I said first I went 100 miles and then I went to 300,000 miles, what would that be? Sequence. I'm telling you the order. Then after I went 300,000 miles, well, then I started offering trials. So they're telling you the order that they went in. Now, some of you circled the years, like 2009, 2012, 2017, and those are clues, right? But is that going to get you there every time? No, that's not going to tell you the text structure every time. But what I could, one way that I know that this is sequence, is it says Google began testing self-driving cars. So I could say 2009, began self-testing. You do not have to write this. I'm just writing it to give you some examples, okay? Then, what's the next thing they did? They were able to test drive 100-mile routes. Well, that's what they did here. They began testing it. Then, 2012, they went up to 300,000 miles, right? The next thing, 2000 what? 17, they had public trials. So they're telling you what they did, and they're telling you the order. So just that paragraph is sequence. Does that mean the rest of this is sequence? No. But that one paragraph, they are telling you the sequence. What's another word for sequence?
Chronological order.
Good. Okay, so out beside it somewhere, I want you to write either sequence or chronological order.
Yes.
And nobody put problem and solution, nobody put compare and contrast. That's good. Both of those are not good answers. Okay, those of you that chose something besides sequence, do you understand why it's sequence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Next page. Paragraph 6. Read paragraph 6 for us, Ruthie. Hold on just a minute. Everybody's not with us. All right, go ahead.
Some of these cars have the help of modern technology. However, even the most complex computer programs cannot handle every situation. In California, in early 2017, multiple driverless cars were caught on video driving through red lights. Self-driving cars, GPS systems, and programmed street maps did not enclose the lights. The cars failed to recognize them. Human drivers could have easily seen the lights and reacted appropriately.
Okay, so what is the big thing that's happened in paragraph 6? What's the big thing that's happened in paragraph 6? What are these cars doing in paragraph 6? What are the cars doing in paragraph 6? Callan? Yeah, they're running red lights. It says right here. The self-driving cars, GPS systems, and programs treatment did not include the lights. The cars failed to recognize them. So when they put you in a GPS system, the GPS system tells the car where to turn and tells the car when to go straight. But does it tell the car when to stop?
No.
Does it tell the car, oh, there's a green light?
No.
No. So they're running lights. Right here, we're going to write running red lights. That's the what?
A problem.
It's a problem. Now, do they have a solution there?
No.
No. So if they have a problem and they have no solution, would that text structure have been problem and solution?
No.
No. Remember, problem and solution, you have to have a problem and a solution. What did you say, Ruthie? Yes, cause and effect. What would have been what's actually happening is there what?
Running red lights.
Running red lights. What caused that?
Self-driving cars and
They did not include the lights. This is our cause. Everybody write this out beside it. So you can see one paragraph to the next. We had sequence. Now they've gone to cause and effect. So not every paragraph is going to have the same one. Yes.
But if you do if it was a question in a test that said what is the the text structure in the whole passage, how would you find out? Because there's so many different text structures.
Well, there won't always be. Some stories have different text structures like this, but some stories don't. So if they say, what is the text structure, that story's going to have just one. If they say, what is the text structure of paragraph 3, then that's one that's got a lot, and just look at paragraph 3. They'll let you know whether to look at the whole thing or one paragraph. The question will say that. Okay? We'll do some more practice with that, too. Yes?
Gavin forgot to do his lunch.
He didn't forget. He came in late. That's okay. I need you focused here. Yes?
I think we might disagree again because I don't think the cars automatically turn. I think like a four-way stop or something, I think the human might have to drive them down.
So you think that maybe they need a human and some technology? Okay, so you're agreeing with what Gavin said earlier, right? We'll get to that in this text. All right, paragraph 7. We got to move on. Paragraph 7. Read for us, Briley.
Another
Incident
occurred in March 2018 when a driverless car killed a
Pedestrian
in
Tempe,
Arizona. It was nighttime and the
pedestrian
was wearing dark clothes when she stepped in front of the driverless car. After that, the governor of Arizona,
Doug
Ducey, ordered the complaint response to stop.
Hold on, let's look at that again. Order the let her do it, guys. Just give her time to figure it out. Company responsible
to stop testing driverless cars on public roads.
There you go. Okay, so in this paragraph, something else has happened. But before we talk about what happened, we need to talk about this word. Everybody circle the word pedestrian or highlight it. Highlight the word pedestrian. pedestrian. We need to talk about what it means. Now, some of you may already know what it means, but don't give it away to your friends. Remember, we want to get in the habit of using those what? Clues. So everybody look at the beginning of that sentence. Another incident. Everybody with me?
Yes.
You're looking at your paper. Another incident. Wyatt, look at your paper. Alyssa, look at your paper. Another incident occurred in March 2018 when a driverless car
Killed.
a pedestrian in Tempe, Arizona. Okay, if they killed a pedestrian, what do you think a pedestrian is? What do you think? What would a car kill? Let's keep on reading. It was nighttime, so you're thinking about it's what outside? Dark. And the pedestrian, there's that word we're trying to figure out, was wearing
Dark
clothes when she stepped in front of the driverless car. Okay, so now we know it's nighttime. They're taking a step in front of the car, and they're wearing clothes. Okay, there might have been a part of me that thought that maybe they were talking about a deer, right? It's possible a car could kill a deer, but would the deer have been wearing clothes? So using that clue where it says that they killed, it was nighttime, they're wearing dark clothes, and she stepped in front of the driverless car. Lillian, look at me, baby, up here. What do you think pedestrian is? Using all those clues, what is a pedestrian? What are they talking about? What has this car killed? If it said that they killed a pedestrian, what did they kill? Yeah, Zell?
I think that's a human.
It's a human. It's a person. Yeah. Out beside here, everyone write human. And we could take it a step further and say it was a what?
Citizen.
Yes, it is a citizen. But if it said she was in front of the car, it could be a lady, a girl. Yeah.
But a pedestrian can be a boy or a girl.
Right, yes.
Okay, so don't think it's just a she. A pedestrian is a she.
I'm glad you said that. I took it, yeah.
Because that's what we were doing over there. They kept saying, well, no, it's just a woman. But
Okay, sorry. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, if Hayes walks in front of my car, he's a pedestrian. If Yazel walks in front of my car, she's a pedestrian. Any human is a pedestrian, okay? It's just what they call, I don't know. Do you know
in
why?
Alamo, you see people walking around the square and then crossing over the street to the other side of the square with the shops.
Mhm.
Those are pedestrians.
Mhm.
If you see kids walking to the high school, I see a high schooler walking to the bus stop over here, where they pick up the high schoolers.
Mhm.
When she's walking, crossing over the road, she's a pedestrian.
Yep.
Okay?
Pedestrians are humans, okay? Yes, Landon.
I don't know, but something tells me, like, if she would have seen the car, if it was nighttime, the headlights would be on, and she would have saw the car, but why would she step in the road? That would be considered.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Pedestrians, in a lot of places, pedestrians are what?
Humans.
In a lot of places, pedestrians have the right of way. What that means is, listen, y'all are asking what, and you hadn't given me a chance to explain it. That means that humans that are walking get to go first, and the cars are required to stop. Okay, now the only time that that's not true is if you go to a bigger city, and they have like those little lights. And they have hands here. That's my hand. Okay, and it'll say like walk or stop or do not walk. And you push the little button. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. If that's there, you don't have the right of way. If it says walk, you can walk. If it says stop, you have to stop. But here in Alamo, we don't have a big city. Our city's not going to pay for those because we don't have a whole lot of people walking. So the rule is that the pedestrian has the right of way. Yazel can go walk down the street, and I, the driver, have to be paying attention. If I see her, I have to stop. Now, Yazel, a very smart thing for her to do would be to look both ways, and then she sees a car not to go, right? Hey, she can't just, you got to be smart about it too. Because are people always paying attention? No. But they do have the right of way. So if you go to Walmart, Landon, this is a good example. You go to Walmart. You know how people are coming out of Walmart and they always are walking out in the parking lot? And you're coming through trying to find a parking spot? You always have to stop and let the person walking go first. Because they're a pedestrian and they have the right of way. It's just the rule.
It's just like
a law.
Target has a place where you stop and let people go by.
Yep.
If you're going to Target.
And it's the law. It's not like Miss Elena's rule. It is a law. If you break it and you keep on going and don't let them go, then if you hit them, then you could be charged with some trouble.
They're gonna give me money.
All right, y'all. I think y'all are gonna ask questions about things that are a little off topic. Let's move on.
Asking a question about fish.
What? What?
So,
Thank you.
like in them places, what if it don't have a stop sign? Like the stop sign fell, and
Okay. See, I knew y'all were gonna get off topic time. So y'all don't worry. If y'all want to know about those, yes. If y'all want to know about those laws, then y'all can Google them. You can talk to your parents about them. But that's all the law talking we're going to talk about right now. Okay. Right now we're focused on this driving. I think that's a great question. But go home, ask your parents, research it, and come back and tell us.
Google.
Okay?
Lily, what's a pedestrian? What's a pedestrian? You wrote something on your thing. What's a pedestrian? Or do it in your own words. What's a pedestrian? Because I think y'all got off topic and then I think you forgot what a pedestrian was.
Lillian, what'd you write on your paper? A what? A human.
Okay.
So a pedestrian, give me an example of a pedestrian. A human that's doing what? What are they doing? Wyatt, what's a pedestrian doing?
They're walking across the road.
Okay, so any human that's walking across the
Road.
let's add that.
Yeah.
Any human walking across the road. Alright, y'all put your hands down. We need to move on. Y'all alright? I think we're getting a little off topic.
I just felt the ring on my head.
And it's okay. Alright. So in the paragraph 6, we had the problem that the car was running red lights, right?
Right.
Now in paragraph 7, it has done what?
It has killed
What, y'all
someone.
It hasn't changed. I mean, the problem has changed, but what is the problem in paragraph 7?
The lady was walking in the road.
And what happened?
She got hit by the car.
Yeah, the car didn't know to
Stop.
stop. If I was driving that car and I saw somebody walking, I would do what?
Slam on the
Stop. I'd slam on the brakes. I'd stop. But this doesn't have a person driving, right? It's just a computer. So because it's a computer, it didn't know to
Stop.
Okay, let's move on to paragraph 8. Guys, if you have glasses on, I need you wearing them. Several of you have glasses and you've got them just sitting on your desk. They need to be on your face. Paragraph 8. Caius, put those glasses on. That was your general reminder. Put them on your face.
I need to find out which ones because they're better than these ones. The green ones are like kind of big.
They need to be cleaned. Okay, let me see them and I'll clean them while we read the next paragraph. Paragraph 8. Thank you, Miss Terry. Paragraph 8. Nadia, read it for us. Everybody's looking at paragraph 8.
Driverless cars also have the potential to make humans into worse drivers. In a world filled with driverless cars, there would be fewer trained drivers on the road. If the technology were to fail, passengers in a car might not know what to do without the training required of a licensed driver. Furthermore, driverless cars might impaired or distracted drivers who should not be on the road to get behind the wheel. If these drivers have to
Take over
take over in an emergency,
the consequences could be deadly.
Okay, so we've got to make some inferences in this paragraph. That author is saying a whole lot of things without really saying it. What is the author trying to tell you might happen in paragraph 8? Like when she says there will be fewer trained drivers on the road. When she says that driverless cars might encourage impaired or distracted drivers who should not be on the road to get behind the wheel. If they have to take over an emergency, the consequences could be deadly. What is she saying there? What is she saying? What's going to happen? If my car will drive for me, then what is she saying is going to happen, Travis?
She's saying that they may have to have someone in the car with the electric car, so at red lights it can stop, and the stop signs when someone walks across the street.
Okay, she's saying there might be somebody in the car, right? Even though the car can drive itself, there might be someone in the car, right? But she says that person may not be as trained. And that person might be impaired or distracted, because if my car can drive for me, do I have to really drive it? No, it's doing all the work. So what do you think people might do instead? We need to make an inference. What would they do? Okay, they might play on their phone. That would be distracted, right? They would be raise your hand like everyone else, please. They would be distracted. Okay, they would be playing on their phone. Because if the car is going to do everything for me, do I need to be paying attention?
No. Yes.
Who knows? You would think no, because the car's doing the job, but here the car's running red lights and running over people. Wyatt?
They might nap.
Okay, people might take a nap because they think the car can do the job for them. Hayes?
I think it would be like people would start doing something that the law says you can't. Like they'll be taking selfies and stuff and playing all their games.
Yeah. Like there's laws that say you can't be on your phone while you're driving, right? But if my car's driving, why can't I take a selfie while I'm driving?
Because it'll kill you.
But they say the car's supposed to do the job for me.
No.
Landon?
The people, they could like, I would think, I understand how people are saying like the people in the car could like be on their phones and stuff, but I would think like the U.S. government between his 4 or 8 years of being the United States government, he made a law where you can't text or be on a digital item while you're driving.
If you're driving.
Right, if you're driving. But if they're not doing the driving, if the car's doing the driving, then does that law apply?
Or another person.
I don't know. I'm not for texting and driving. I'm just throwing out some ideas, okay? I'm just trying. What about, it says here, fewer trained drivers. So we've talked about how they would be distracted, right? They wouldn't be ready for an emergency. So if I'm taking a selfie and then the car runs a red light, am I going to be able to stop it?
No.
Probably not, because I am distracted, right?
Right.
Now, what does it mean if it says fewer trained drivers? What is a trained driver? What do you think, Bryson? Experience. If you have no experience driving, because the car's done it all for you, are you going to know how to operate that car? No. Nadia?
If I would have ever made a car that drives by itself, I
Mhm.
would have like made this app so the person who's riding it, they would have been like controlling the car with the app.
Oh, okay. So you think they might need to keep on doing some different things, keep on advancing it? Okay. Let's look at paragraph 9. Read paragraph 9 for us.
Everybody needs to be trying.
AJ, read paragraph 9 for us.
Put your finger on it.
There are currently no federal laws according to the National Conference of State
Legislators. legislators.
There are 29 states with laws regarding driverless cars. Current laws allow driverless cars on roads. There are no age requirements to operate a driverless car. Imagine a 5-year-old being able to take a car
Unsupervised.
unsupervised to
So it says here that the current laws only support testing driverless cars on roads. There are no age requirements to operate a driverless car. She says, imagine a 5-year-old being able to take the car unsupervised to the grocery store. Okay, so let's make an inference. She says here that there are laws for testing it, right? So maybe they say you can only test the car on these streets, and you can only test the car going this fast, and you can only test the car with one driver in it. They have laws for testing it, right? But that's it. What kind of laws are missing? What kind of laws do they need for these driverless cars that are missing? What kind of laws are missing? They have laws for testing them, but then what else would they need, Gavin?
Like age requirements and maybe requiring a license.
Okay, so age requirements. Maybe a license to operate that kind of car. Because if you put me in a Tesla, do you think Miss Lane is going to know what to do?
No.
No, I don't have a clue. So maybe a license in order to operate that kind of technology. Because, like, let's go back to Miss Amy. Y'all remember Miss Amy saying she couldn't operate this board?
No.
Do y'all remember her saying that,
No.
Miss Amy Lucky? Okay, so if Miss Amy has a hard time operating this board, which uses a lot of what?
Technology.
Then we could make an inference that she would have a hard time operating what kind of car?
Tesla.
A Tesla, a driverless car, right? But if I just put her in there, there's no laws that say she can't drive it. That would create some what? Some problems, some accidents, yeah. So maybe a license to operate that kind of technology, that kind of car. Maybe an age requirement. How old do you need to be in order to drive that car? What other kind of laws do you think we would need for that kind of car, Landon?
Like safety patrols, like where you would still have to wear your seatbelt, and like if you had a kid in the back, like a baby, you would have to turn their seat where their head would face the back.
Okay, so like rear-facing car seats, still wearing seatbelts, so some safety measures still need to be in place. Hey, guys, these need to be on your paper. I need these on your paper, please.
Unlock anything?
Remember, all the time, unless I say don't write it, you need to be writing it. Kobe, what else would we need?
To not let kids, like babies or child, like 4th graders our age, not let them drive a
Yes.
car.
Yes, I agree. So you need an age requirement, right? You need to say they have to be at least this old to drive it. Bryson?
Like there's seatbelt safety things now. Maybe there should be like requirements for like looking at the room.
Okay, so still some laws about being distracted. Like what you can and can't do while you're in that car. Okay. Nadia? Last one and then we're going to move on.
Maybe like they can put like whenever like in regular cars, whenever you don't have on your seatbelt,
Mm-hmm.
it will make a beeping sound. Maybe it should have seatbelts.
Okay, so Nadia says like your car now, when you don't wear the seatbelt, it beeps, right? That's a safety feature. So maybe we need to have some safety laws, but maybe it needs to also have some safety features. Like some things that remind you to put on your seatbelt, or maybe something that reminds you to do the airbag, or some other things that maybe that car would need. Okay, let's move on. Paragraph 10. The big thing I wanted you to get there is that while this car will drive itself, there are also some laws that need to be in place, in order. Okay? All right, go to paragraph 10.
This is a long thing.
It is long. We just have 2 paragraphs left, though. Yes, sir.
You know when you were talking about the car itself run over people,
Mhm.
one realize the person who not driving the car, they might not be paying attention. They'll be on their phone, and they'll think it might be like a speed bump when they ran somebody over.
When it's really a person, yeah. All right, paragraph 10. Wyatt, have you already read today?
Everybody
Okay.
be phone.
I have a question.
What, Wyatt?
Well, not a question. But this text ain't really family friendly.
Okay, you want to read, Alyssa? Read for us. What do you mean it's not family friendly?
It says the word killed.
Well, sometimes things have, that's
It
real
ain't
life.
family friendly.
All right, Alyssa, read for us. Paragraph 10. Everybody's there.
Defenders of driverless cars argue that the cars can be built to improve space for a human driver. The driver can.
Okay, hold on just a minute there, Alyssa. Just so we know who we're talking about in the beginning. When it says defenders of driverless cars, what does that mean? If you defend driverless cars, what does that mean? If you defend them, what does that mean? Read that whole sentence. Defenders of driverless cars argue that cars can be built to include space for a driver. What is a defender, Yatzell?
Protector.
Okay, if yes, they protect the driverless cars. Give me a little bit more.
So, the defender, are they for it or against it?
Yeah, that's okay. Callan? If you defend it, then you are what, Briley?
Yeah, for it.
You're for it. Okay, so right here, everybody write for. That means that they like the driverless cars. They want to defend it. They say that they are a good thing, and this is why. So if, like before, we just said that you need age requirements, you need safety features, they're killing people, they're going through the lights, and somebody said, oh, but we can fix that. We can build a space for a human driver. If they want to fix it, then that means they are for it. They like them. Okay? All right, let's keep going. The driver. Everybody there? Read it for us, Alyssa.
The driver can take control in
Situations.
situations that robotic cars cannot handle. But the argument ignores the fact that by the time a human driver realizes the robotic car is making a mistake, it can be too late to correct the error. The driverless cars that ran the red lights each had a human
Co-pilot.
However, by the time they
Could react.
their car had shot through the
Intersection.
People understand the rules of the road better than computers do. Trusting the computer robots, passengers of the addition, they need to drive safely.
Okay, so trusting the computer robs passengers of the attention they need to drive safely. So in this paragraph, she's saying that people that are for it say, well, we can fix that. I know the cars run red lights, and I know that the car ran over someone. So to fix that, we'll put what in the car?
A person.
A person, a human. But this author's saying that doesn't always fix the problem, because what happened?
Ran over a pedestrian.
A pedestrian. She says right here, everybody look with me. The driverless car that ran the red lights each had a human Co-pilot. That means that when they ran over that lady, there was a what in the car? A person. But the person realized the car was making a mistake a little too late. Because that person was distracted, right? Because they thought the car could do it all by their self. Okay, so everybody needs to underline that. So people that are for these cars say, well, just put a human in there. But this author's saying that won't fix the problem. Because both of those cars had what in them? A human, a co-pilot. Yes, Bryson? Did you forget what you were going to say? Okay. Yes, Landon.
My dad's it's about like this technology like self-driving. My dad's van broke down, so he had to get another truck because his van broke down, and that was his work truck.
Mm-hmm.
But it had cruise control, and he didn't like that because sometimes that truck, it was messed up too, and it would just turn on cruise control whenever it wanted to.
So he had to be paying attention, yeah.
Attention.
So just because something will do it on its own, the human still has to pay attention because technology doesn't always work, not like it's supposed to. Pace?
I would like to add on to Landon because a few years ago my mom had a Land Cruiser
Mm-hmm.
and it had all those buttons like cruise control, but it also had this button where it would drive itself out of holes and stuff because it was kind of like an off-road vehicle.
Oh,
and it
okay.
would drive itself out of holes.
Gotcha, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Ranger.
Okay, paragraph 11. Read for us, Stella.
Everybody needs to be tracking. Paragraph 11, finger on it.
Read the paragraph 11.
The truth is that driverless cars just haven't been around long enough. People
Okay, stop right there. That is this author's opinion. Remember, every opinion has to have evidence, support. All right, keep going.
Google reports thousands of hours of testing over many years. Cars have been in production since 1885. Even so, safety precautions like car seats, airbags, and seatbelts were not invented until much later. The driverless cars might be the car of tomorrow, but tomorrow clearly is not here yet.
Okay, so what is this author's opinion? Based on that paragraph, how does this author feel? When she says, even so, safety precautions like car seats, airbags, and seatbelts were not invented until much later. So she says cars have been in production since 1885, but even since they've been built that long ago, they still didn't have car seats, airbags, seatbelts until much later. So what is she saying? What is she saying? What's her opinion here?
Somebody's I'm calling you. If you don't have your hand up, so you better be thinking.
This is a place where you have to make an inference. How does she feel about driverless cars? We've already talked about how does she feel about them. What does she think about them, Kylan? What? She likes them?
No, she don't because
You're talking about the overall.
Because what?
they're not safe.
Because they're not safe. She doesn't like them because they're not safe. That's how she feels. That's her opinion, right? Now, add on to that. Make an inference. She doesn't like them because they're not safe, but she says, like before, when they were just making regular cars, the safety precautions like car seats, airbags, seatbelts were not invented until much later. So right now, she doesn't like them because they're not safe. But what could happen, Nadia?
A lot of dangerous stuff could happen.
Yes, that's how she feels right now, right? She doesn't like them because dangerous things can happen, yes? But what could happen, Yazel?
You can get a car crash.
Yes. So right now she doesn't like them because dangerous things can happen. The car could crash. Travis?
I'd like to add on the Cowan because she doesn't like them because when the drivers are in there, they think that the car can do it all and they're occupied on something else.
Yes. Okay, all of you are right. Look at this last sentence. The driverless car, right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at it. Y'all say yes, ma'am, and then you're not there. The driverless car might be the car of
Tomorrow.
but tomorrow clearly is not here yet.
Yes.
So she doesn't like them because they're not safe. They could cause a crash. People are distracted in them, right? But she says it might be the car tomorrow, but it's not the car of tomorrow yet. So she doesn't like it right now, but what could happen?
She could end up liking it.
Do what?
She could end up liking it.
Why? What would need to happen for her to end up liking it? What kind of changes does she need?
Because they could get more, like, protection in there.
Okay, if they were more protected, Hayes?
I would like to add on to Wyatt because they could get some cameras and like put them in the grill of the car and stuff and attach them to the computers and it'll tell it when to stop.
So if they made some, that would mean that it would need to be
Improved.
So she's saying it might be the car tomorrow, but it's not the car tomorrow
Yes.
yet. She doesn't like them right now. But if they were
Better.
improved, if they were safer, if they were better, she might like them later on. She's saying right now they have a lot of
Flaws.
flaws, a lot of problems. But if we improved them, they might be okay in the future. Okay, she might like them in the future. Yes, Landon.
I looked at on to Hayes and Wyatt because there's this commercial that's about Subaru, and there's this guy in the 18-wheeler thing, and he's backing up out of his driveway, and there's a thing that starts beeping because the monitor in the back there's some says it's like something really close.
Yes. My sister's car has that. Okay, I need you to write this. Circle yet, and then that it might be better in the future. She's saying right now these cars are not ready for the road. That's how she feels. That's her opinion. And she's giving you a lot of reasons. But she says they might in the future be okay. But they would need a lot of improvements. AJ, do you have that on your paper? Yes.
A lot of pedestrians have been killed with normal driving cars also.
Yes.
And, like, they both have the same problem. And I think they can both get it.
Okay, so Bryson's got a pretty interesting opinion. Bryson said that regular cars have killed a lot of people. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. He said even regular cars have some of these problems. So maybe both of them could be improved. Yeah. And dangerous, yes. Okay, go ahead and close this book.